Alright guys, hi, welcome. I hope you guys enjoyed those clips of my Druid build for Season 1. Now I want to make some disclaimers quick about this build. I've been trying to make this build really without using any corrupted malignant hearts or anything like that because I'm trying to make this build work for the Eternal Realm as well as the Seasonal Realm. That's really what I'm going to be doing this season with Barbarian and Druid. So if you guys like that, please consider subscribing to the channel so you guys don't miss out. I'm going to make this build video very brief because I kind of just want to touch on the things that I did that are a little different than normal Pulverize and talk about some things that I'm taking advantage of in this build to make me do the things that I'm doing currently in this build. So right now, as you guys can see, I'm in town currently and my power right now is almost 7.6k. Now if I go out of town, I'm almost at 10k power, which is kind of nuts, you know, for being this level. And I'm gonna show you some things that are kind of crazy with my Paragon board. So with my Paragon board, as you guys can see right now, I basically kind of have it done. It's just now chasing the legendary node. So currently I basically ignored all my rares along the way and the legendaries along the way as I leveled up, and I just kind of beelined it to get to here, to my last glyph that I really wanted. A quick talk about this part real quick. The reason why I chose Undaunted over Territorial is because the nice thing about this is the fortified damage that we are going to get is basically going to apply to all types of damage that I deal. So the reason why I like this is because since I'm using Pulverized Shockwave in the build, this damage bonus is going to extend to that shockwave that Pulverize does. Or, for example, when I use Trample, because I am using Trample Landslide as well, when the pillars come out of the ground, if I'm a mile away, I get this damage bonus. But if I had Territorial, I would be missing out on all that damage. Now, if you come over here and look, I'm basically missing, for example, I'm going to be grabbing this node for sure, because this is just a no-brainer to grab. I'm going to be grabbing this node as well. I'm going to be grabbing this node up here as well. I think I'm going to chase this one, but this might be like at the very, very end. It's not my priority list, but I think this is going to be one of the last ones I grab. We're obviously missing this right here to get more health, more willpower. We're missing this guy over here to get more nature magic. We're missing this as well. We're missing this as well. So we're missing a lot of damage. Like we're missing a lot of damage nodes that we kind of skipped on just to beeline it. So the build is only going to get stronger. Currently, right now, I'm able to hit like 600k pulverizes and stuff. Like, I haven't uploaded any like gameplay of the build, but I will be live tomorrow on Twitch, so make sure you guys come check me out. I'll leave it in the description box down below. But after we got all that out of the way, I kind of just wanted to show you that this build is still missing a lot of damage, and we're still able to clear content very easy. Now, something that I did a little different in this build that I want to touch on real quick is normally for like a pulverized build, people always go Earth Spike because it's an Earth ability, it synergizes, it does a lot of things, right? But before the season came out, I wanted to make a Druid, and I really wanted to do Pulverize because I just thought the bear just kind of clicked with me for some reason. I thought it was really cool. And something that I saw with this setup is I saw that you have Envenomous down here for the Druid where you deal an increased amount of crit damage. Now, supposedly this 30 plus is actually a mistake and it's supposed to say 30x. Don't know if this is true or not, but I've seen that. So if this is actually 30x, that's going to just be insane. But we have this because every time that we attack with our claw, we're gonna apply poison, which is gonna give us that proc. So this is what's helping me to like nuke bosses. And there's another thing that I have on this build that's helped me to nuke bosses as well that we're gonna go over as well. Everything else in the build is basically very standard. Nothing out here that's different. But what I did a little different in my build is I came over here and I actually grabbed this passive quick shift. Because this build, we're going to be switching between Werewolf and Werebear the whole build. So you're going to be constantly changing form. So this right here is awesome because when you're using your claw, you're going to shift into a bear and boom, you're going to attack getting this damage bonus. And you're going to obviously get this multiplier here. And on top of getting a bunch of other multipliers as well in the build. Now coming down here, we have Heightened Senses. I grabbed this because like I said, we're always switching forms. So this is going to give us 8% damage reduction for 5 seconds, adding on to our already tankiness. And what I did is I also came down here and I actually grabbed Bestial Rampage. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, why didn't you go with Ursine? And the reason why I didn't choose this is because we're changing form all the time. And to me, like, you get 30x increased damage while healthy, which is cool. And you get the 20 times maximum health, which is cool. But it's not that important to me. I would much rather grab this, Bestial Rampage, because this is cool because basically all I have to do is be in werebear form for 2.5 seconds, which I'm always in form. And then obviously I have to be in werewolf form for 2.5 seconds, which again, my basic attack is a huge part of the build in terms of applying damage to a boss. So I get this. So I attack fast. I hit hard. I just love this. Now, some people might be saying, why don't you go Earth and Might, you know, so you get that, you get all that spear back. But the thing with this build is you're not trying to just slam pulverize the whole time. The goal with this build is to basically put poison on everything and slam the ground and kill it. You're going to hit hard all the time. That, to me, getting this up makes no sense. And also, something with this build I did as well is I actually got rid of all sustain for this build in terms of resource buffs, because my basic attack is a huge part of my build, so I actually buffed my resource regeneration stat instead of using a legendary aspect for that, because I wanted to save that to put damage. I'd rather have damage on my rings than have resource sustain on my rings. Again, people might debate me on that, call me dumb, but I'm trying to bring you guys the best pulverized build in the game, and when I hit level 100, I'm super excited to bring it to you guys, because like I said, the sky's the limit with this build. My goal is to make this build without using Barber. I just don't really like it. I'm impatient, so I hate waiting for that tick to go off to kill everything. And again, the goal with this build is to make it function in the Eternal Realm as well. So for my Eternal Realm players that are there, you can use this build, okay? So now let's get into the gear. That's kind of like the main things I want to touch on. So something that's key to this build is this legendary aspect right here. I think it's called Effigy of the Changeling's Debt. I think that's what it's called. Don't make fun of me, guys. Like I said, it will be in the description, the whole build, so if I got the name wrong, it's there. But basically what this does is when we damage an enemy with poison, we instantly deal more poison damage to them, and this is what's giving us that burst with pulverize against bosses. This is what's helping us to nuke. Now, there is an aspect that I do want to switch that I'm going to be playing with later, and I think I'm currently have it. It's the one where your core skills allow your next... yeah, attacking your base skills increase the damage of your next core skill cast by this up to 30x. Now, the nice thing about this, and if you guys didn't know this, because we're using Claw, we actually get a double tick of this. So basically, if you get a max roll of this, you have to just swing Claw twice, and you're at 30%. I don't know why it does it, but for some reason, when you attack once with Claw, you get the first proc, and then I guess like the start of dot damage just gives you the second proc, but it doesn't stack on the dot damage, just the initial hit of dot damage. So with this, it's just like when I even had the basic roll, so you can pull this on the Codex of Power. Even with the basic roll, I was doing I was swinging, and then I would get like 3 hits, I'd be at 30. So like I said, if I got a max roll, we would be like, you know, at 30 and 2 hits. And the cool thing with this build is I actually have so much resource regeneration, and this is without using like Malignant Heart to get there. In 2 hits, I can pulverize. So that's what's amazing. Like, you know, swipe, pulverize. So like I put my dot damage, I'm poisoning them, I'm making them slow, crowd control, boom. So like I said, the synergy here is just so good, and I made the build like function so smoothly that you're always gonna pulverize. You're never going to be saying, oh my god, I can't pulverize, it's pissing me off. You're never going to be like that. This build's all about speed. Now again, a lot of people are going to say, well, why don't you have a way to get spirit from like crowd control or something? And it's like I said, if our basic is a huge part of our build, you know, why do I need to have that? Because the basic is going to get you your resource regeneration, so why not just buff that instead? That's my logic, that's how my brain thinks when it comes to this kind of stuff. But yeah, this is a huge part of the build, and a lot of the other stuff, as you guys can see, is pretty like what you would expect from a normal pulverized build. So we have Basilis Prayer, and then we have Insatiable Fury. Now the cool thing that you guys can see is like I even have an ancestral roll of this. So if I got one of these, oh man, this build would be even better. If I actually had some good legs, my survivability would be better. And then something else, and then obviously just we're gonna put Retaliation on the necklace, because again, we're gonna be fortified the whole time, so we want our skills to be buffed. And then also right here we have our earth skills deal more damage to crowd controlled enemies. Again, we crowd control all the time, guys, and let me show you with this. It's because of this passive right here, neurotoxin. So poison enemies are slowed by 8%. So again, we just need 1 point to proc the crowd control, and we have all these synergies going off at once. This is what's allowing us to burst elites, burst bosses. Like I said, this build, you are going to be so tanky. When you guys read it, it's going to be insane. The cool thing is, too, is my amulet right now has basically no damage. Like that damage reduction, like that damage for 4 seconds of killing an elite is garbage. that 9.6% willpower to me is garbage, because basically if I lost it, I would lose like 60 willpower. You know, I have damage reduction on the amulet, but it's the lowest roll. The only thing that I would keep on here is cooldown reduction. You know, so like I said, there's so much more missing from this build that, like, if we just got it, you know, we would be good. Now I'm going to show you real quick just kind of like how the build is going to work. Really, like if you were to go out there and like actually test this for yourself. Like I said, I think you guys are going to have a lot of fun. My goal is to try to just make Pulverize better, because I know a lot of people actually enjoy Pulverize a lot, and it's more of, I think, more accessible role than versus, let's say, Stormwear. I know Storm Werewolf and Landslide's like meta right now, but that's what I'll show you. So basically, like if we're not in combat and we're in, like, we're just kind of like in the zone with our weapons down, we have this proc, we're at 9.8k, which is kind of crazy. We're always gonna have that up. Because you basically just want to swipe, you just want to get everything poisoned, and you're just gonna slam. Obviously you're gonna always kill everything, so it doesn't even matter. You know, that's the, we're not even like fully fortified yet, but like as you guys can see, we're just gonna nuke everything. It doesn't even matter, you know. And that's the crazy thing, is like once I actually get like the final buff for this build, it's gonna be nuts, you know. And the cool thing is too, like I have the trample landslide here, and I'm thinking about getting rid of it, but I just, at the moment, I just don't know, because I currently, like, it's so cool. Like as you guys can see in some of the PvP clips, my montage, I'll leave it at the end of the video. It's just insane, like just how nuts it is, you know. And like I said, like I'm missing so much damage, you know, so like if I get that damage, like, would be great. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the build. That's kind of the rotation of the build. You just want to like swipe. Oh, perfect. I'm actually out of essence, so I can show you this. So I think my regeneration is right. So I hit twice and I can pulverize. You see that? I can hit twice and I can pulverize. And the way I'm able to do that as well is, you see, I basically have, I run resource regeneration on both my rings and my focus. And I know a lot of people are going to sit there and be like, oh, well, why don't you run that one when you crowd control an enemy, you gain essence back? Again, to me, it's, again, guys, it's like a waste to me, because I think the legendary aspects, like to me, for example, getting this 30x increased damage to crowd control is way more important to me than putting a resource sustain passive and then replacing that with, like, let's say I got physical damage on the ring or vulnerable damage on the ring. That trade-off is worth. And like I said, I have the build to a point now where all I have to do is just double swing, and we are setting. The cool thing like with this build, guys, is we are so fast. Like, see, this is my standard, like, that's my attack speed without the bestiary, and then when it's proc, I'm just swinging so much faster. And also with this build, we have such high movement speed, guys. It's insane. Like, I am officially the fastest character, like, in the group, because I always have this on, because my bulwark, basically, like, see, I just use my bulwark and ended 3 seconds later I can proc again. Anyways, guys, this video kind of went a little long. It was supposed to be short, but I was just having fun kind of talking about it. Let me know down below what you guys think about it. Again, the build will be linked down below, and I'll have the finalized build for you hopefully within the next coming week. I'm just going to grind this really hard and try to finish this character for you guys. Anyways, thank you all so much for coming and watching. Again, patch comes out Tuesday, and I'll be covering that as well. Later.